Right, Halloween. Halloween's over already. Halloween, I just didn't really find myself that scared on Halloween, you know what I mean? I'm a bit annoyed about it, to be honest. I mean, it's supposed to be the scariest day of the year, and I just don't know, I just didn't really find myself that scared. I just feel like I need to play something today that's going to make me shit my pants all over the floor. Now, what do I play? I mean, what the fuck is that? Something underneath the thing. Now, this is a good idea, my friends. Now, you see, I didn't find myself, as I said, on Halloween that scared, but I think I found the thing that I'm going to do today. Let's shit ourselves. What's up everybody, and welcome back. I am IAMFUTUREIDIOT, and you found yourself back on my channel for another weekly video. Now, as I said, Halloween, I don't know, I just didn't really feel that scared, and I feel like Halloween's supposed to be scary. It's supposed to make yourself shit yourself all over the floor, but I didn't find that. So this week I thought maybe we should jump back onto the horror side of this and review something a bit more scarier. And before we begin, it's obviously Resident Evil, but I have a slight confession to make. Now, as you may well see here, I have all the main title Resident Evil games in the series so far. Now, 2 is my personal favourite of all time. I played 2 first, and then I skipped over and played 4, 5, and then just fucked that. Then I came back to 1 in the end, and then the remake came out, and then here we are. Now, I also have another confession to make, is that we're not actually going to be playing the PlayStation 1 version of this today, because I thought that as it's 2015 and the GameCube HD port came out on PS4 this year, then we should do that one, because it's actually got a few more things in it that, for even an experienced player, it's still got stuff that's going to catch you out, and for a new player, it's just going to add to that sense of terror. And as it's now Halloween and I need to shit myself a little bit, terror is what we're after, so now, Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil 1 for the PlayStation 4. This game is great. Right, going into the new game, you are given the option to pick between the two main protagonists of the game, Chris or Jill, who are members of the Stars Bravo team. Now, their objective was to go into a nearby woods of what we have just walked into now, the Spencer Mansion, because communication between the two teams ceased after a bit of a disturbance. So then you go in, find out what has become of the Alpha team. So you end up in the Spencer Mansion, which is one of the best settings for any game I could ever think of, because it is so creepy and it's so dark and it has so many settings, and you're given really iconic scenes like this here. Now, I'm not actually going to show you what this iconic scene is, because I think when you're first immersed into this game, you need to find out what that scene is for yourself. From there, you go in and you basically investigate. But obviously, things are not quite what they seem. You come across zombies and monsters, which is obviously not an everyday occurrence. So the further you go into the game, the more the plot thickens, the more clues you find, the more just how you find out how dark things have got around here, and the atmosphere builds over time, because you know just about as much as your character does. So it's quite a good learning the same time as them. You go around and you pick up items, and you also find descriptions of people that have lived at the mansion, and find out what have happened from a sort of a second-hand experience, and find out what's happened to all these poor individuals. Which I really like reading the diary entries, because the story then isn't shoved in your mouth, it's kind of given to you a bit at a time, so things are revealed in such a awesome way that you can't click onto what's happened straight away, you just find out over time. Now, as I mentioned, this is a port of the GameCube HD remake from the PlayStation 1, so it looks great, the lighting is awesome. You still have sort of the tank controls that you did with the original Resident Evil, which I have no problems with at all. They do take a bit of getting used to, but because of the nature of the layout of the house, because you've got these long hallways and short areas, it really makes you feel claustrophobic when you're in an area with an enemy. But it's not actually all about the enemies, it's not about the combat and the fighting, because this game is very heavily puzzle based, and they're all very clever. They're very subtle because I think it was easier to do the puzzles back on the PlayStation 1 because all the items which you could interact with were a bit more highlighted. They popped out a bit more, but because of, well, obviously in current gen now, everything kind of blends into the background, so it does take you a while to find out sometimes what you're actually supposed to be doing, whether it be pushing something off a ledge, or maybe pushing a desk to then jump onto it to grab a key, or even maybe going into your inventory, because this game has a very big emphasis on your inventory. You only have 8 slots in which to carry any items around. This thing actually includes handguns and weapons and ammo, so it does give you a very limited space in terms of having to be able to carry everything around, because sometimes you will come up to items and pick them up and there won't be any room, which is cool, because then you come to what is basically the best place in any game ever, which is essentially your safe room. Now, there's a few things in your safe room that no zombies can ever get in here, but there is a big chest in which to store all your items, so you can pick stuff up, put it in there, then come back and then use it for later when you might need it. There's also a typewriter to save your game, and there's also little clues in there sometimes about how to take down enemies, or even how to get rid of them entirely, because in the original game, if you killed a zombie, it was done, never have to come back to it again. But in this one, they can reanimate, which is fucking terrifying, because you might kill them, and then about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, come back, and then they come back faster and stronger, and they're more of a bitch to take down. Again, that also is another good mechanic, because it keeps you on your toes, that you never really know what's going to be in the next room, whether it's going to be nothing at all, or you're going to have some crimson head run at you at full fucking speed. On the subject of more enemies, actually, there are bosses in this game, which is quite surprising, because you didn't think there would be bosses in such a small amount of space. But there is a big mansion, so there are many areas, and there is more areas than just the mansion later on in the game. I haven't showed any of that here, though, because I really think you should experience for yourself. Same with the bosses, really, because the bosses will scare the absolute shit out of you, because they're a bit random. The sort of things, when you come across them, you sort of shit everywhere, because they are just totally out of the blue. I mean, it's not like 56,000 feet of zombies. They're just, you'll find out for yourself when you play the game. I mean, you really have to experience them for yourself, because does have a bit of a shock factor to them when you do find them. So that's another cool thing that you can check out along the way. Oh god, this game's just so fucking amazing, basically, because not only do you play it through once with Jill, for example, then you can go back and then play it with Chris, because it's not just playing the same game twice. Each have different paths to take and different interactions with different characters, similar sort of puzzles most of the time, but it is just really, really exciting, because you just never know really what's going to come around the next corner, that between different scenarios, crimson heads reanimating and charging back at you. And there is a very good replayability with it. I mean, it does take you a long time to get through this game, because sometimes you have no idea what you're supposed to be doing, and some parts can be quite cryptic, some enemies can be a bit unfair. Obviously, if you run out of ammo, you're fucked. But you should get it, you should play it in the dark, you should play it by yourself. I mean, it's very exciting, it's very atmospheric, and a bit of a brain teaser, so there's nothing else that you could really want from this game. You should definitely pick it up. You can pick it up on PSN for quite cheap, maybe 15 quid, which is a steal. Then play 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, but then definitely don't play the piece of shit that is Resident Evil 6. I know there's loads of shit on the floor that came from my bum, so that just means I've just been scared enough that I can just carry on with my normal life. So I just feel a lot better about that now, to be honest. Now, that port is great, it's awesome. I do miss the B-roll voice acting, you know, but it's, you know, modern times and all that, you gotta have some good shit going on. It's not my favourite. 6 is definitely not my favourite Resident Evil. I mean, I will be reviewing other ones in the future. I'm really excited that they've announced that they're going to remake 2 in the same way, because up until this point 2 has been my favourite, and I think that in a HD sort of format would look fucking sick. So apart from that, I hope you all had a great Halloween and you were scared enough and all that kind of shit. So I'll see you guys next week. Remember to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and share it around, because I'm still trying to grow this channel to the size of the big balls. And big balls. And now I will see you next week for another edition of IAMFUTUREIDIOT. Later. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. I'm IAMFUTUREIDIOT, and now we're joined in the this week I'll be using a bit more on the horror side of the aspect. a horror side of the aspect. Fucking reason. But, shit me in the bum. The remake is... it's not a fucking remake. Fuck you, motherfucker. The features that make it that more...